It was a cold, stormy night when four friends, Sarah, Mike, Lisa, and David, gathered around a dusty, forgotten board game in the attic of an old mansion. They had stumbled upon a battered snake and ladder board, its colors faded with time, and the board itself exuding an eerie aura. David, the adventurous one, was the first to suggest playing. The friends agreed, and Lisa began to set up the board. As they took their positions, they noticed the dice. It was unlike any they had ever seen, carved from an ancient-looking bone and adorned with strange symbols. They hesitated, but eventually decided to use it. The game started innocently enough, with each player taking turns to roll the cursed dice. However, as the dice tumbled across the board, the atmosphere grew tense. The board seemed to come alive, and with each roll, something peculiar happened. Sarah, after rolling a 6, found herself transported onto a ladder leading to a higher number. As she climbed, her heart raced, and her surroundings morphed into a nightmare. The skies above darkened, and she could hear whispers of dread. She reached the top of the ladder, trembling, and watched as a serpent-like creature slithered beneath her feet, disappearing into the shadows. David, after rolling a 2, found himself face to face with a snake that materialized from the board itself. It hissed menacingly, and he could feel its cold, scaly skin. Terrified, he tried to move, but the snake wrapped itself around him, squeezing tighter with every passing second. Mike, rolling a 5, was greeted by a ladder that led him high above the board. But as he climbed, the ladder became endless. He cried out for his friends, who could barely hear his faint screams from far above. Panic set in as he realized he was trapped in a world of eternal heights, with no way back down. Lisa, rolling a 3, was spared from the ladder, but was faced with an even more sinister fate. As she moved her piece forward, her own reflection in the board's surface began to distort and contort. She watched in horror as her image twisted into grotesque shapes, her screams echoing through the attic. The game had become a nightmare, and the friends were trapped in its twisted reality. With each roll, they experienced unimaginable horrors, and their pleas for help grew desperate. Hours turned into days, and their sanity began to unravel. They soon realized the only way to escape was to finish the game. They rolled the dice again and again, enduring torment after torment. But as they neared the finish line, they knew they were in a race against time. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached the last square. With a trembling hand, David rolled the dice one last time. The room seemed to freeze as the dice landed, and the friends held their breath. The dice revealed a 6, and they cheered in relief. But as they looked at the board, they realized the game was far from over. The attic around them began to disintegrate, and they were sucked into the board itself, trapped forever in the twisted world of the snake and ladder game. As the mansion crumbled into ruins, the ancient game board disappeared, and the world above continued, oblivious to the friends' fate. Their voices now echoed from within the game, serving as a chilling warning to anyone who dared to play the cursed snake and ladder.